name. Okay, so the data type indicates what type of data we are storing it in that column, whether it's an integer data type or character data type or decimal or float, whatever it is. So I'm going to say character data types. So the character data type in SQL Server is called varchar. Varchar, and you have to specify what is the maximum number of characters you can store in this field. So name, I'm just going to keep 100 characters. And same way, address line 1. Address line 2. City. State. Zip. Okay, so the last one indicates whether the nulls are allowed in this column or not, which means a blank value. Is it allowed in this column or not? That is what it indicates. So I can say the blank value is allowed only for address, but not for applicant name and applicant ID, which means they are mandatory fields. So I just provided all this information. Now I want applicant ID to be automatically generated by the system, because when an applicant is filling his application, like practically we don't fill the ID, we only fill our details. We fill when I submit my application, I'll say I'll just fill my name, date of birth, address, and some other information they may need, but I don't fill any information about ID, because IDs are automatically generated by the system. So I can do the same thing. I can let SQL Server automatically generate this identifier for me when I create an application. So how can I do that? So just select on this column. I just selected it, and if you go to properties, you can see there is an identity specification. Just expand it, and then there is a property says whether it's an identity or not. Just change it to S. It automatically becomes an identity column. Once a column becomes an identity column, you don't need to worry about inserting data into that column, because the data for that column is automatically generated by SQL Server as you are entering or like inserting more and more records into it. Okay, so that's it. So simply we are just creating a table, and that table has like 7 columns in it and an identity column. Among those 7 columns, one of them is a identity column. So I'll just save this. So I'll just call this table as loan application. So this loan application table stores information about all the applicants who are applying for a loan. Okay, so now the table is created. So once the table is created, you can see that there is a entry added. So now how to view this data in this table? Simple. New query. You remember this command, okay?
Yeah.
Select star from loan application or the table name, and just click on execute. It automatically displays all the data available in this table. Right now I don't have any data, so it is just showing empty table with the column names. So now I want to insert data into this table. How can I insert the data into this table? Simply right click on the table, script table as insert to new query editor window. Okay, so this will create a insert script for us. So we can use this insert script to insert data into this table. Okay, so it just created insert into table name with this actually has database name also in it, table name, and what are the fields we are inserting data for. If you observe, applicant ID is not required to be inserted because it is automatically generated by SQL Server. We just need to enter data for the remaining fields. So and there is no address to, so what I will say, I will insert a null value. So to insert a null value, you can just type word null. Okay, so syntax is simple. Insert into table name, and inside the parenthesis, the columns you want to insert the data into, and then keyword values, and whatever is the values that you want to insert. And again, those are inside the parenthesis. That's it. And then click execute. So one row affected. Now let's go back to our query to select the data and execute this again. So you can see there is data inserted. So null at any time, null in the database means it don't have any information in it. It's a blank value. So blank values in SQL Server are represented as null. If any relational database, in fact, it's just not SQL Server. Even if you use Oracle database, the value for a column when it is blank is called as a null value. And this null is different from empty string. Empty string simply doesn't have any data, but a null means, empty string means just an empty value. But null means a value that doesn't exist. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we can see there is information available in your loan application table. Okay. Now in the same way I can insert more data, right?
Yeah.
Just modifying the values. So if I go back and execute the script for selecting the data, now it is showing three records. So simple. So create the table and then insert the records, and if you view the data, it is showing you what is the data inside it. Simple. You don't need to know much about you will be able to know more information about how to work with SQL Server as we learn multiple things here. Okay. So, but to start with,